Yo, what's up, guys? Hopefully you're all doing well, having a good, I hope you have a good day. Today it's Tuesday, 3rd of September, 2024. So today's video is going to be a different one. It's not going to be a video where I'm going in all guns blazing on, on the Inhams and the Tony Jolie, on the Inhams and GI fam today. I want to start doing more videos that are not just aimed at one at them or only Jolie's. I don't want to do, I want to do more videos where I'm not just singling them out, because I get that probably does look, it does look like that. I get that it probably does look like, I single the Inhams out a lot of the time, and I want to make it clear that I'm not trying to single them out in any particular way. But the reason I do videos so much on them is because they are one of the worst, but they are probably one of the worst and probably one of the more controversial family vlogging channels out there. And they do, and a lot of the things they do have to be addressed, and a lot of the things they do have to be mentioned and do have to be talked about. Obviously it just goes, it goes without saying at the end of the day. The way I see it, all family vlogging channels need to be banned at this point. They either need to be gotten rid of or demonetized. Like, that's all I can really say on this situation, is that they all need to be kind of gotten rid of. Because I feel like these days, a lot of the family vlogging channels are just way too controversial in that respect. And I think there's always been a huge reason for why I've had such a problem with family vloggers and what they do, is because, although nobody will actually care to admit this, they are basically just making money off of their hits. And that's why I'm saying that YouTube need to do something about this, because I think it's very important. I think that it's always been very important for, YouTube to start changing the rules with regards to family vlogging channels, and then basically being able to make money off of their children at the end of the day. That's basically what it is. The majority of family vlogging channels are just parents basically trying to parents making money off of their children. I'm pretty sure that YouTube are probably aware of the controversy surrounding the family vlogging channels, and I'm pretty sure they know how controversial a lot of these family vlogging channels are and why they're so controversial. But I feel like I don't think YouTube really do give a shit. I think this is the problem, is they don't give much of a shit. Like, they don't care about the fact that these children are basically being exploited and abused by their parents. It's like, they're the ones that are enabling this to happen, because they're the ones that are basically sticking their middle fingers up and saying that they basically support child exploitation. I think they're probably aware that there's a lot of child exploitation going on the platform, but they just don't really care about that. It's like, it'd be banned from, and get a suspension from YouTube for posting abusive comments. I mean, how many times have I been suspended from commenting on videos for 24 hours because I've said so? I've been quite rude to people and sworn at them, called them a few bad names. It's just, I don't know what else to say. Like, there's obviously a big reason why, these family vlogging channels are so kind of controversial. And yes, today I am calling them all out. Today I'm not just singling one out over the others and saying, well, this, as I seem to do quite a lot. I think that people need to start waking up and realising how bad these family vlogging channels are, and the fact that these family vlogging channels are just parents, making money off of their kids. I honestly think that the majority of people who defend these family vlogging channels for what they do at kids, basically, it's like, how can anyone? I just think to myself, like, how can anyone in their right mind defend people who are basically making money off of their children and are basically treating their children like performing monkeys in house? I was watching Jonathan Jolie's YouTube short that he uploaded last night, and I thought to myself, like, how, I know people say, oh, Jonathan's such a great dad, he's such an amazing father, etc., etc., etc. And I looked at his video and I thought, all I'm seeing here is a father who's basically exploiting his children for money, and basically using his children for content, basically, like that's all he's doing. He's basically exploiting his children and using his kids for content. And so many family vloggers and there's so many parents doing this. It's like the LeBron, it's like the LeBron family do it. Family Fizz, Dad Feed Girls probably. The Inhams, Tony Jolie's, Dorothy doesn't. The list is endless. In fact, there's an endless list of family vlogging channels where parents are just making money off of basically making money off of their children. And they're basically exploiting their children. And obviously it would be unfair for YouTube to ban one YouTube channel, to ban a certain family vlogging channel and not ban the other. That would cause a lot of upset. So banning all of them or demonetizing all of them, is probably the best thing that YouTube could do right now. But YouTube are too busy supporting it. This is the worst thing about it. It's the fact that YouTube are willing to support it and say that they, and basically it seems like YouTube are absolutely fine with it, to be honest. It seems like it does feel like they are actually okay with the fact that children are basically being exploited on their platform, basically day in, day out, every single day. That's all you're seeing is kids being exploited by their parents for money. What I see here is kids who are basically what I see are children who are basically being forced by their parents to perform for the cameras just so their parents can make money off it, make money from that. That's what I see. Is parents who are basically forcing their kids to perform for the cameras so that they can make money. Because if they didn't put their, what people need to think about is the fact that if a lot of these parents didn't put their kids out there on YouTube, they wouldn't be as successful as they are now. And they wouldn't be making as much money as they are making now. If the family vloggers were just filming themselves and putting out, showing what they do, no one would watch their vlogs. This is the situation, right? These parents put their kids out there because they know that their kids are the ones that are bringing in the money. Their kids are the ones that are bringing in all the views. People don't. I've said this so many times, and I'll keep saying it. People are not watching these channels because they want to watch the parents. People are watching these channels because they want to watch it, because they want to watch the children, like they want to watch the kids. There's a lot of family vlogging channels who that have only been as successful as they have been because of their children. If they didn't have their children, they wouldn't be as successful as they are. The Tony Jolie's wouldn't be as successful without their kids. The Inhams definitely wouldn't be as successful without their kids. Probably, Family Fizz, probably, Georgie and Darren Fizz, they would probably fit in that bracket. Dad v Girls, the mum and dad from Dad v Girls, they probably fit in that bracket. Alicia Doherty, she probably fits in that bracket. People like, Hole and Savannah LeBron, they probably fit in that bracket as well. A family of parents who wouldn't have been so successful without their kids. That's the one thing. Well, that's one of the quite a few different things that a lot of these family vloggers have in common. Is the fact that they wouldn't be as successful without their children. And that's the only reason that they're more successful is because they put their children out there in the videos. I've said this so many times, when it comes to people like the Inhams and the Holy Jolies and whatever, if they run a week without filming their kids, you would definitely see a big difference in their views. Because a lot of people would stop watching because they don't, because a lot of people, as I said, a lot of people are watching the videos purely because they want to watch the kids. YouTube need to wake up and realise what the situation is now and realise what's going on here. And start kind of doing what needs to be done. And the sooner they start realising that things need to be changed, the better, that his might stand a better chance. I hate to say it, but I do think that if YouTube start actually changing their rules and things like that, his might just stand a better chance of, a better chance in reality. I think that has to be said. It's a major problem. Now, it really is a major problem. And I just don't know what else to say. I wish there was something else I could say about this, but there isn't anything else I could say about it that hasn't been said. I'm doing this video because I want to, do videos like this because I want to raise awareness to, and I want to address the things that need to be addressed. I want to say the things that need to be said. What I don't understand, I sit here right now and I'm struggling to understand why YouTube support this. What are their reasons for wanting to support this? What are their reasons for them supporting child exploitation? Because there has to be a certain reason why they're willing to support child exploitation in general anyway. Let's face it. There must be a decent reason for why they're so, determined to support child exploitation in some way. Be that, whatever that reason is, it's certainly not a good reason. It stands to reason that people should call them out for what they're doing. They should question the fact that, they're not really, this is a problem, they're not really doing, YouTube are not really doing what they should be doing, and that is stopping these parents from being able to make money off of their children. This is what my problem is here, is the fact that day in, day out, all of these parents are basically being allowed to do whatever the hell they want to do. There's no point even reporting, videos for child exploitation. That ain't gonna do nothing. Reporting a video to YouTube for anything like clickbait or child exploitation or whatever doesn't do anything. If YouTube are not interested in things like that, truth be told, they don't give a flying monkeys about the fact that people are exploiting their kids. They don't really care about the fact that, people are doing this, like they don't have a problem with the fact that people are doing it. And I feel like that's what really winds me up more than anything, is the fact that YouTube are basically saying it's okay that parents are doing this. There's nothing wrong with the fact that, parents want to make money off their kids. Like, just goes to show how ridiculously stupid most of them actually are in that respect. I don't want it to sound like I'm being harsh for the sake of it. I want it to sound like, I want to make it sound like I actually do give a shit, because I do. It's funny how it's funny how we give way more of a shit about this than YouTube do. Suffice to say, obviously I have gotten in contact with regards to Sony Jolie's. I have made numerous reports to the social services team to make them aware of what's going on, and make them aware of what these family vlogging channels are doing. I feel like the more people that mention this and actually report them, the better. Obviously, as I said, me reporting, only one person reporting the Sony Jolie's to social services, isn't really going to do anything. But the more people that actually get on the phone and report them, the better. Because right now, the Sony Jolie's probably do need to be reported for what they're doing to their kids. That's what they're doing, is child exploitation. They're basically, they're basically treating their kids like hash cows and performing monkeys. And what, at the end of the day, it's funny how most of the, most of the kids from these family vlogging channels are homeschooled. And why are most of these kids most of these family vlogging kids homeschooled? Well, it's not because the parents want what's best for their kids. It's because with the kids being at home all day, every day, it's easier for the parents to exploit them. This is what it comes down to, right? The reason that most of these family vlogger kids are actually being homeschooled is not because their parents want what's best for them, it's because of the kids being at home all day, every day. Their parents, it's easier for their parents to exploit them. Because let's face it, with the kids being at home all day, every day, it means that the parents ultimately have more to film. Because if these kids are at school 5 days, 5 days all day, every day, 5 days a week, their parents don't really have anything to film. To be honest, when I look at the Sony Jolie's, I'm kind of surprised they haven't actually started homeschooling their kids. I thought that Jonathan and Anna would have started jumping on that bandwagon by now. There's one thing that actually caught my attention with them the other day. So Jonathan put out a video on his channel on Saturday, and it was around early on in the video. I was watching Alessia, and I noticed there was something that she was doing, and I noticed there was something she was doing, and that really caught my eyes, that really caught my attention. Now, if you've seen a child with autism, or that has a more severe type of autism, what they tend to do sometimes, they tend to kind of flap their arms a little bit. It's all like the happy arms thing or something like that. Now, I saw that yesterday. I saw that, and I thought, I noticed that Alessia was doing the flappy arms thing the other day. And I thought to myself, that's. And the reason I bring it up, the fact that Alessia was doing the flappy arms thing, was the fact that it was the fact that it's a common trait in kids that have autism. Kids that have autism aren't commonly known to do that flappy arm thing, and that's what Alessia was doing in the video on Saturday. She was doing the flappy arm thing that kids with autism do, and that's why it caught my attention. But I mean, obviously, you know, it's just crazy, really, what's going on YouTube these days with regards to child exploitation. You know, and the fact that it's gotten so bad. You know, it's like the thing is, it's like it's not like there was only one YouTube channel that was, you know, that was doing it. I'd say fair enough, but the fact that there are so many, you know, family vlogging channels where, you know, parents are basically just making money off of their children. You know, that to me says that something needs to be done. And I think that I think that something is really there's been something that they've really needed to do something for a very long time. Like they really needed to get involved and just put a stop to what these family vloggers are doing. You know, the sooner they do it, the better, really, because it would show they care a little bit more. You know, and I just wish that people would start waking up and realising that these family vlogging channels are not as good as they're made out to be. You know, and I think that's not me trying to be spiteful. That's just me being truthful at the end of the day. Really, you know, you can't help but you can't help but sympathise. You know, you can't help but sympathise with these kids. You know, there's the problem with a lot of these kids is that, you know, they're so young that they probably don't even realise that their parents are just exploiting them for money. And this is the problem here, that you know, these kids don't realise they're being exploited. It's like when I watch the Inhams, right? You know, Mila and Jace, you know, they get filmed, that they're being filmed every single day. Like, Mila and Jace don't realise that they are too young to understand the fact that their parents are basically just exploiting them for money. And they're basically just using them for content. And that's basically what the Inhams channel is. It's basically just two parents. It's basically just two parents using their kids for content and exploiting their kids. Same with the Honey Jolies. Same with Family Fizz. Same with half the other flipping family vlogging channels on the platform. You know, the other thing that this is another thing that a lot of these family vlogging channels have in common, and it's a good thing that they all have in common, is that they are exploiting their children for money. You know, and that they are using their kids for content. At the end of the day, kids are not content. But that's the way they are being treated. That's the way their parents are treating them. You know, these kids deserve parents who are not just going to exploit them for money and who are not going to keep treating them like cash cows or performing monkeys, which is which is exactly the way their parents are treating them. You know, you lot can come at me and say what you like about this, but I'm not going to apologise for the things that I've said in this video and the things that I've mentioned. You know, if someone has to say it, someone has to question the fact that YouTube are basically supporting this. Someone has to ask that question as to why YouTube are so okay with this and why YouTube don't have a problem with this. You know, someone needs to be asking that question, about why YouTube don't have a problem with parents exploiting their kids, and why YouTube don't see anything wrong in that, and why YouTube don't think there's an issue there. There's an issue here, because there is an issue here, and it's an issue that YouTube are not addressing. It's an issue that YouTube don't give a damn about. You know, they're too busy basically supporting it rather than actually doing what it is they actually need to do. You know, I can't be the only one who thinks they should be doing more about this. I know I'm not the only one who thinks that YouTube should be doing more about this. And that's what gives me the boost to kind of do these videos, is the fact that I know that I'm not the only one who actually has this opinion and who actually feels this way about it, and actually, I'm not the only one who is angry about the fact that YouTube are basically supporting this. I know I'm not the only one who's angry about the fact that these parents are basically getting away with exploiting their children for money every single day, day in and day out. You know, something should have been done about these family flooding channels a long time ago. You know, the time has come for YouTube to finally start getting rid of either get rid of these family flooding channels full stop, or just simply demonetize them. You know, they shouldn't be, these parents shouldn't be allowed to be making money off of their children. But that is what is being allowed to happen. Yeah, and that is what, and YouTube are allowing this to happen. You know, I mean, obviously, I know I call out social services a lot, say that social services should be doing more about this, but it's not really within their remit. You know, again, social services are not to blame for the fact that, for what's going on these platforms. The only ones that are to blame for the only people that are to blame for any of this is YouTube. YouTube is the one to blame for it, because YouTube is the one that's saying, oh well, we're absolutely, they're saying that they're absolutely fine with the fact that parents are exploiting it hits on the daily basis. They're the ones that are saying that they're happy with the parents making money off of their kids on a regular basis. But the worst thing about this is the fact that people defend this. And the fact that people, there's so many people out there who don't think that these family vloggers are actually doing anything wrong, when actually most of them are. You look at what they do, the sort of content they put out there sometimes, very suggestive, very inappropriate, And this is another major issue with a lot of family vlogging channels these days, is that the parents don't really care about the sort of dangers that they are exposing their kids to online. They don't seem like they care about that at all. All they care about is the fact they're making money. They don't care about the fact that there could be paedophiles and perverts watching their videos every day. I don't even think that half of these family vloggers would actually have an issue if they knew that paedophiles were watching videos of their kids every single day. It's like, this is why I've always had such a big issue with parents filming their kids in swimwear and putting that out there on a public social media platform. Because when parents do that, they're basically making their children pedo-like handy. What they're basically doing with that is they're pedo-baiting their kids. And this is why it makes me laugh that people defend the internet. And as I said the other day in the video I put out, I think last week, I went back and I looked at their channel. And I was shocked by the amount of thumbnails there were that showed Esme, Isla and Isabel in bikinis and swimwear. And I just thought to myself, like, that's actually disgusting. And it's something that unfortunately Chris and Sarah have unfortunately gotten away with for years. Because if you report a video for having that kind of thumbnail, that doesn't get taken down. I honestly feel that if these family vloggers upload a video that shows their kids in bikinis and showing footage of their kids in bikinis and swimwear, that video should quite rightly be taken down. That video shouldn't be allowed on the platform. And sadly, so many family vloggers are doing this. So many family vloggers are not stopping to think about the dangers that they're exposing their kids to on a daily basis. A lot of the time when I look at Jonathan Jolie, his channel at this point has basically become a paedophile's paradise. Every single video he uploads has a flipping wide open, has an open mouth thumbnail. A lot of the content he puts out there is him is basically more aimed at his pedo friends rather than his actual fans. And this is a similar thing with the inners. It's like half the time I look at the video, I look at the sort of content they're putting out, and I often wonder who that content is aimed, like who that content is being aimed at. You know, is that content being aimed at their fans, at their loyal iFam, or is that content being aimed at the haters and trolls? And it feels like that content is being aimed more at the haters and trolls most of the time these days than it actually is, than it actually is their iPhone, which is another big, another big part of the reason why they need to seriously think about quitting YouTube. It's not half the time most of that content is is aimed at the trolls and haters. The sooner YouTube get rid of a lot of these family vlogging channels, the better, but sadly, things ain't gonna change anytime soon. Because YouTube don't give a shit, like nobody who was this is the problem, it's like, nobody who is in a position of authority really does give a shit. The people who are you can't rely on the people who are in a position of authority, because the people who are in a position of authority don't give a fuck. What hope have you got when YouTube are basically wearing shirts that, I'd love to see them rip their YouTube jumpers off and show their t-shirts saying, "We support child exploitation." That's basically what they're doing. They're basically sticking their middle fingers up at people and saying, well, fuck you. We report child exploitation. That's what they're basically saying. They're basically saying they support child exploitation and they're absolutely okay with it. They're absolutely fine with it. They don't have an issue with it. And I'm struggling to understand why. I'm struggling to understand why YouTube don't have an issue with the fact that parents are basically making money off of their children and they're exploiting their children and they're using it for content. Because quite rightly, that's something that they should have an issue with. But the fact they're willing to support that is just disgusting. It's immoral. It's wrong. It's unacceptable. There's nothing good to say about this anymore. I had to do this video because these things really needed to be said. I hope you enjoyed the video. And there'll probably be another one coming out this afternoon. And I'll be interested to see what Inim's put out today. Probably a load of garbage, and it won't get many views again anyway. So we'll see what happens anyway. I'll see you this afternoon for another video. Bye bye, guys.